I thought that this little mini die cutting machine would be a total extravagance, but I gotta tell you, when I'm cutting pieces for these card class and all the little ones, and all I gotta do is sit down at my desk and do it right there. I really love it. Yeah, we got that one. I just matched up the top of the stem and the bottom of the stem. Okay, that'll take care of that for the moment. Now, blending brush and petal pink. If you don't have the petal pink, just leave it white because it'll still look really good even on the white. See? But the blending brush with the petal pink is what I use to take and color the die cut, the embossed die cut. And I just pat that up and down. Tap it off just a little bit and then come in from the corners in a circular motion. It doesn't pick up a lot of color, but you really don't want that much. It'll pick up on all of those little raised areas from the embossing folder, and that's completely adequate. So we just want a hint of color.
And what
Okay.
color are you using?
This is petal pink. I'm
Okay.
not sure that you have that one. That's why I said
Okay.
you can leave it just white.
Okay.
Okay, so we want some dimensionals to pop up the flower onto this.
Okay. Okay. Now, I take the edge of my dimensional pad and just, because I want a little bit at the bottom of the stem and the top, and just do a couple of little pieces. Make sure that'd be fine.
There. Now, I put you guys up at the top and then it made the screen larger so we can see better. I still am figuring out the whole Zoom visibility issues. The first time I tried it, I forgot to leave my phone muted, and boy, I had echoes bounding all over the place. Okay. So looking at our sample here, we're going to put the flower head on first, kind of tilt it to the left because we want our stem. And I suppose you could put the stem on first because you definitely want that going. And I think I will put the stem on first. It's been a little while since I made this one, so trying to remember what I did. Okay, close to the bottom, a little to the right. That should do it. And that way, when we come back in here and put this on, see, I butted it right up against the flower head. Oh, that's good. Okay, and then your, see if I have the, I absolutely adore all of the little one-line sayings. Look at all of these that I made. I went nuts. And I found that I almost like the using the die cut in the colored cardstock to create a mat for it. But I have done them in all different ways. And I just did a whole bunch of them so that I'd have them and I could just grab them. So I'm looking for one of the happy birthdays that I already did. Here we go. Because this one I did straight up and then just mounted it on the dimensionals. But sit and take, and it's very easy. You would think that trying to stamp on these little strips is difficult, but it went right in the center so easily. You know, you just need to make sure you're up and over the top of it when you're doing it. Okay, even if you have to stand up so that you can see straight down around your ink onto the little strip. And then just do a mess of them. Throw them in a little baggie inside your, I keep this right inside my stamp case. And I have all of them ready to go for any of my little cards, especially cards with flowers. Little one-line sentiment strips like this, I just adore. So that was one of the things that, other than the gorgeous flowers in this set, that attracted me to it. So I want some mini dimensionals for this, or you can cut down your regular sized because it's smaller. And let's see, the bow's going to go underneath. So just one on each end because we're going to be straddling the stem on this is all that we need. And we're going right up over the top of that bottom leaf a little bit. Stick that end down, and I gotta get up here where I can see it. And then stick that end down. Okay. And then we're gonna add dimensionals just to the corners on the bottom, because we're gonna slide this ribbon underneath. When I cut it, we'll slide it underneath and get it to sit right behind the sentiment label. And then the bow will be there to the left. So I'm gonna put some dimensionals on the corners and one or two in the center, just so that it isn't gonna buckle on me. So I'm gonna use the regular size on this. And that'll do it. Now, because I often like to put the dimensionals in the center, but I don't take the cover off of it. Because if I all of a sudden I decide, oh, that's a little bit crooked and I want to move it, that center one is really a pain to get underneath it, you know, to loosen that, to reposition it. So, and then we're going to put this right onto our acetate. So, and we want it, oh, that looks like about a ½ inch from the top and about a ½ inch from the left-hand side. So anywhere in that vicinity will be good. And because we've got this is going on the acetate and the color is actually on the back side. If you need to reposition it, it's a piece of cake to pull that up. But that looks really cool. All right, ribbon. Now I use, this is my homemade bow maker. But I tie my bows around this, especially if I'm going to be wrapping the ends around the back side of the card, because a lot of times it'll save me maybe an inch or so of the ribbon and I don't waste it. So when I do this and make these around, I use the next one over, but I did that on all of the bows that I make. That way I can pre-do the ribbon, the bows for you. And we're going to match this up to the left side, right where we want it. Hang on to it. Pull the loop to the back. Okay. And this is where you're going to cut. Oh, I need my ribbon scissors. Just right there. Okay. And then we'll slide this underneath. There we are. Now we get the glue dots. Glue dots and ribbons are very good friends. Okay, so I want one on the back of the bow. And that'll be the first one that I put down so that I can get snug up the rest of it. And I want it right there beside the sentiment. So kind of pull on that side and then stick it down. Then I think this is my bow, yeah. So this is the one that's going to go to the back side. Again, I'm just going to take the ribbon right to the dot on the roll. Turn it to the back and stick it down. And then again over here. And see how I'm putting that right underneath the sentiment? Hang on to it. Press it to the back. Even the back of this paper is fun. I don't think I've done too much with that yet, but I have another package. Now I left the tails long because it likes to fray. So I knew it was going to fray on you going through the mail. So now's the time when I'm going to take and trim these up. And I did them a little on the short side on the original card. So that's what you want. There. Pretty easy. So now we're ready to actually put this on the card base. Now, hopefully y'all have a Stamparatus. If you don't, make that one of your next purchases, because that's how I get my sentiment so nice and straight. I put that on the inside layer. So when I do this, I always use liquid glue because I like to make sure I'm going to get it on there straight. And I start with my corners, pull the glue down a little bit. And then just run. Doesn't have to be real close to the edge because when you press it down, it'll move in that direction anyway. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, somewhere around here, you should have some strips. Maybe it's still in the bag. Saw it fall out. Oh, this is envelopes. Okay, in your kit, you should have 2 little strips of this designer series paper. They're about 1/2 inch wide, and just with some liquid glue, add that to your inside piece. And then if you want to go ahead and stamp the I'm thinking of you, I did that because this was going out to someone that I don't have a whole lot of contact with. And I thought it would be just nice to add thinking of you and wanted to wish you a happy birthday. So I tend to do things a little bit unconventional as far as how I manage my inside sentiments. Sometimes I'll even put it down here where the strip is. Okay, so set that aside. I can go with the next one. And please, anytime you find yourself missing something that's not in the kit, let me know, because I'll just pop it in the mail to you. I try to go through these a couple of times, but sometimes I miss things. Okay, so let's look at this one next. How you doing?
Good.
Okay, ready to go on to the next one?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna definitely do your
The recording?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
listen.
I don't want to take up too terribly much
Oh, no.
your
you're
time
good.
today. All right, so this one, this is the pretty peacock one. Beth, you've got one that's Bermuda Bay, because I knew you had those colors.
Oh, okay.
So you're gonna just stamp a solid, the sprig of flowers here. That's going to be this one,
Mm-hmm.
okay? So you're gonna stamp it solid and then just die cut it out, okay? And then that one will be ready to start up. And I'm gonna need bag. Another bag. So I don't know if you guys, when your dies come a lot of times in these nice little narrow pockets, but I always stick mine on the inside of my stamp set. So I take them out of the pocket and just, so that way they're together. As long as I don't have a really big die set, you can do that. And then I use these to store all of my extra pieces.
Yeah, I got some on Amazon.
Oh, cool. That's the gift card holder, so I'll set that over here. Now, I think I removed the, well, maybe not, because this one's I've got it on it. But just check and see if there's a film on the back of the acetate piece. If there is, go ahead and take it off. And see, I already stamped this one. This card base is the Bermuda Bay, and it looks just as good as the pretty peacock. Monica, you've got the pretty peacock set,
Yeah.
so.
Okay. Let's see some stamping.
Oh, there's the strip for our inside layer. And I'm going to grab a congratulations. Yes. The die for the sentiment label. Let's see if I shortened this. Yes, I did. Okay, so I cut it the first time, just like you would all the way through. Okay, and then I moved it down 2 notches to shorten it up, and then ran it back through the die cutter again. And that will make it fit. And then the congratulations needs to be about 1/8 of an inch past the letter. So go ahead and stamp your congratulations if you want to, because this one's going to go together very quickly. And if you've stamped your flower sprig, you can die cut that. See, and then this is going to fit really nice on there. That's so cool. I'm going to go ahead and put this one down too, just so that it's done. Now, in the folder I sent with all of the photos has instructions on how I made each of these pieces, the nested labels, longer. We're going to use the silver side this time. And on all three pieces. So the first one to go down is going to be the acetate onto this nested label piece that's got the faux embossing on it. So I'm going to do the same thing I did with the big piece of acetate. I'm just going to put dots of glue on the gold places. And then I just came around the edges. Doesn't take much. Just that little bit. And then I'm going to line this up so that my point goes right inside the embossed line that you see when you get. And press that down. If you wind up with a little bit hanging over your top edge, like this one's just attached. So I'm going to just trim that off. Okay. And then once again, with glue, we're going to put it to the next label. Oh, wait a minute. No, we're not. We're going to do the bow first. So where's my bows? There it is. Now, this one you can just snip right in the middle, because just like that. And we'll use a glue dot on the back side of the bow. Oh, that's the little ones. That's better. Okay, so the bow goes about 1/4 of an inch down from the top of this label. and right in the center. Now, I did color this ribbon with the alcohol marker, the Stampin' Blends. And Beth, on yours, I used the Bermuda Bay, and this one
Mhm.
is the Pretty Peacock.
Wow. You colored the ribbon?
Yeah,
Wow.
the alcohol markers will color just about anything. Now, that being said, sometimes I get it in places I don't want it. That up a little bit. And I'm going to trim the tails again. And this time I trimmed them to about the width of the nested label there. Okay, now we can adhere this to this label. And I'm going to use my liquid glue. Match up your edges, the top edges, and then the point at the bottom. Okay. And then the die cut's going to go on top of it with some dimensionals. Want me to give you a minute so you can cut your flower?
Oh, no, you're fine.
Okay, good. All
Yeah.
right. Can I use the little mini dimensionals? Somewhere, yeah. On the flower. One in each of the big flower heads.
Is the flower stamped in shaded spruce, you said, or pretty peacock?
You need Bermuda Bay.
Oh, Bermuda Bay.
Yeah.
Oh. And is there a backing on the acetate on these little flags or no?
There may be just.
I'm having a hard time figuring out how to get that stuff off if it's on there. I guess it's not on there.
I tried to take it off, okay, on all of these.
Okay.
Because
Okay,
of
then
because I die cut the acetate.
Okay.
And I knew it was going to come away, so I just wanted to get rid of it. Yeah, they did that backing. I understand why they need it, but it was a bit of a pain to get off. But once I got it started, it was all right. So your flowers tip to the left a little bit. And there's the two, look at the two. There. So now I'm going to take and put the card front onto the card base with liquid glue. And you can use the tape runner, but my Stampin' Seal is getting a little bit low. And when it gets low, it likes to hang up, and I just didn't want to mess with it today. You can get the Tombow tape runners in the big box stores. I think I usually pick mine up at Michael's though, when I was using it. Now I want my color, the saturated part of the color at the bottom of the card. So the same thing with this one. There's more color here. And it goes about 1/4 of an inch. I left 1/4 of an inch space around the edges. There we go. And then dimensionals on the labels and your sentiment. So little ones on the sentiment, or half pieces if you're using the bigger ones. And this one gets matched up with the top edge of your card front and about 3/8 of an inch in from the left-hand side. So I matched up the top, and I pretty much kept it straight too. And then just pressed it in. And then the congratulations. Cute. How did you like the thank you card that I put in with the kit? The one
I
that
loved
had,
it.
Oh, I
Yep.
love that hydrangea set.
yeah, that's where I think I'm going next.
Yeah, that one's really pretty. The purple's really pretty for Easter and spring.
Yes, I thought the same thing.
All this stuff in this kit. So pretty for spring. Even that graduation card would
Uh-huh.
be good for graduation.
I actually sent some of those to my niece. She's a real estate agent,
Oh, wow.
and she used them for congratulations on your new home.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and as a thank you card. So
That's so awesome.
my best friend, the glue remover. Okay, see, I thought that was pretty quick.
Yeah, that's cute.
Yeah.
Very cute.
So let's talk about the coloring on this spray, because there's different ways that you can do this, and they're kind of fun. Let me get a blank sheet of paper here so I can demonstrate this a little bit. Now, if you have a chamois or a wet paper towel, I guess would do too, except that I'd be worried about fibers coming off. But I also have these. This is actually, they call it an absorber, and they're sold for car cleaning kits. I think I picked it up at Walmart. Anyway, I cut these little squares down off of it. It comes in this monster huge roll. And it is perfect for what I'm going to show you when I colored this. And the other neat little tool that I use is a makeup applicator brush. Okay. So I need to get my Bumblebee or yellow. If you got it, Daffodil Delight, that's fine too. Because I used a Bumblebee on the flowers on this. But instead of worrying about, you know, if I'm getting ink on just part of the stamp, I went ahead and stamped the whole thing. And then I wiped off the flowers. And it's pretty easy to do with a chamois or that little. So actually I want the green. Oops, oops. Let me spray this. Okay. Dry that off. So, this time I'm going to use the Pear Pizzazz, which is a little bit lighter. The Granny Apple Green will be fine. The Shaded Spruce is just too blue of a green
Yeah.
for this paper. So rather than taking it down to the paper, which I almost did, you're going to pick up the chamois or this little thing, and you're going to wipe off just the flowers. Okay. And I'm wiping off the little flower heads. Should get this up here where you can see it. And I'm going to take that little tool and I'm going to wipe it off. Just the flower heads. So you can see. And then because I've been messing with it, I'm going to huff on this a little bit. And then I'm going to take it to the paper. Now, see how easy that is to see when you're straight down on top of it? Boy, I got a lot of lag, don't we? Come back. Okay, that helped. So you can see the ink is still there in my stems and on the leaf. All right, and that won't matter. And then now I will do the opposite. I'm going to wipe this off and go in with my Flirty Flamingo. I'm leaving the yellow out because I'm going to hand color that with that little applicator brush. Okay, so now I'm going to take and I'm going to, this time I can take it off of everything but the big flower heads. So see, got it off there. Come in there. This particular stamp is very easy to do that with because you can see where all of the flowers join the flower head. And here, okay. So now when I take it to stamp it, I'm going to line up my bottom leaves carefully. And I just look at the stem and the leaf to the right. And then when I come down, I'll have it. See? And then I'll wipe this off. Let's move this. So we've got the Pear Pizzazz and the Bumblebee out. And really what I need is some in the lid. You can just go straight to your pad with the little sponge applicators, but I didn't pick up. I guess I'm going to do that because I'm not getting any of that on the lid. So I'm wiping the applicator off so that the green and the Flirty Flamingo are off of that. And then I'm going to come in, I'm going to start with the Bumblebee and I'm just going to color the little flowers. And I kind of just tap, 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 just the way we do when we're stamping onto our, with the whole stamp onto the stamp pad. You can do this on larger pieces with a sponge dauber. I'm just building up color. There, I think I got enough. And then I'll go ahead and stamp the flowers, the little flowers onto this. You can see the yellow.
Hmm.
See? Now, the little green ones in here, I'm going to go ahead and dab that on with the Pear Pizzazz. And I use the other side of the applicator brush. So you can pick these things up at like the Dollar Tree, any kind of little sponge applicator that's got a little pointy. I think that's where I got my last package. And then I just wash them off when I'm done with them.
build up the color a couple of times. Okay, that should do it. Yeah. See the green I put in. Not bad.
So cool. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Then the other trick, which they've shown these in many of the videos, is where they take the solid stamped images like these two. Okay, and they just cut the flower heads off right along the edge. And I come in here. This one, I kind of wiggle it around the shape. And then I come back and I trim those little tags off of it so that it doesn't look like it was even there in the first place. Okay, and then they just take and glue this right on top, like this.
Mhm.
So that's another easy way to take and color those. You can, there is a second stamp to use onto the top of the little ones, and you can use the same stamp for all three flowers there. And I've also seen this one. I used a sponge dauber on the base of the flower heads, and then with a blender pen, took and pulled out the color into the flower petals just to give a little more dimension to it. So, all right, so let's put together that last. And something to drink, just a little bit dry. All right, where is it? There we go. I knew it was there somewhere. All right. So I already have, I'm going to use this one that I did with the different colors on it for the front of this one. So bring out the finished one. So this one's going to be just a little bit lighter, but it still goes good with it. Use the Florida Flamingo and the Poppy Parade to color the flowers like this one, because this one's nice and deep and it's a really good match for the red in there. And then, so once again, I've colored. Set those over here. Now this one was not die cut. It has just been embossed. Okay, and I did color it with the petal pink. But you can leave it white because there's a lot of white in this paper. So if you don't want to take and use the blender brush to color this, by all means, just go ahead and leave it white.
What color are you using?
Petal pink.
Okay.
Just leave yours white
Oh, yeah, I will.
because the Flirty Flamingo is just too strong.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was thinking, Beth, if you want to continue just collecting the stamp spots, you
Yeah.
can buy empty ones and then buy the refills and fill them
Oh,
up
okay.
yourself. That I know a lot of people do that with, what's that other company that I think it's a Tim Holtz, and he sells a lot of just the little ink spots, and he's even got little tins that you can put them in.
Oh,
So
wow.
I've got color all the way around the edges here, and I'm leaving the inside of this just a little bit lighter.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then it's going to get adhered to the vellum
Uh-huh.
stitch scalloped. Now, I'm going to do this with glue dots because I did it with liquid glue, and the vellum wanted to curl on me, and that really irritated me. So I'm just going to put dots on the corners. And then adhere that down. Again, you know, the vellums is for a bit forgiving as the acetate is. So if you don't get it quite positioned like I just did, you can pick it up and move it down so that it's centered good. So there we go. And I need another happy birthday. Where's my bag? This time I need one of the straight ones. There's one. And let's see, is that one gonna fit? Yes, ma'am. It's just right. See how cool that is with the dark
Mhm.
colored behind it? That just became my new favorite because then I always like my sentiments, if possible, to be matted or die cut, one of the two. This is those little finishing touches. Okay. Now on your instruction sheet, you're gonna see that I used 2 other stamp sets to put Today is All About You. This one comes from the Mini Mates stamp set. And then the To and From is actually from the Itty Bitty Christmas set, stamp set.
Mm-hmm.
And both of those are really useful sentiment sets. So, but you don't necessarily have to have this. You can take and leave this blank and just
Mhm.
write in your birthday wish, okay? And which is what you're going to see today, because I'll do that just plain instead of like this one. So I'm going to take and glue the 1 inch. Now these flowers to me go in one direction. My eye says they go up, like these look like they go up.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted my strip to go up too. So liquid glue. Right on the edge. Top, bottom, and the right side. Okay. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put it on the inside of the gift card holder. And I line up the right hand edge and the bottom. And that always gets things pretty straight for me. Straight enough anyway.
Mhm.
Okay, you can use a little line of glue to adhere the flap down if you don't have tear and tape. Now I have some, so I'm going to use that. And mostly because I'm not going to adhere it down until I get the other two parts onto it. But I'll have this done, and I put that right on the edge. And come in with my scissors and cut it off. Okay. With a bone folder, I take and stick that down real good. Okay, so now I'm going to take and I'm going to put the, again, keeping my flowers right side up. This is the flap piece. Right side up, right side up. Just get that centered up. And then we'll come out and do this one here. Okay. Now, back to our front piece. We've got this, and we've got a matte piece for it to go on. You can use liquid glue. Again, I think I'm just going to use the glue dots because I'm going on to the vellum again. So I learned my lesson on this one. That one buckled on me, and it just was not my friend. Okay. And where did I have my flower head? There it is. So we need dimensionals. And you're going to want a skinny strip to go on your stem. Now, I just found something that I forgot to do, and that was to take and color some of the rhinestones for this. So this one's going to get laid out to the left. That's probably pretty good right there. So give me a second. I'm going to grab these. There. Yours are already colored. So, and I needed one medium, one large, and two small. And this is the pretty peacock, which is what my color coordination is on this. I think yours is too. So I just go around the whole thing. Make sure you get those side edges. Do all three of them. And then I need to dry a little bit. You can go back in a second time and that will darken it. Do not do more than 2 coats because it just starts taking it off. The alcohol wants to take over instead of the color. So, and yes, this is an old pen, which is why I kept it. I have another good set. And I'm going to let that dry for a minute before I pick them up and put them on my thing. So what I'm going to do now is to go ahead and put my flower piece onto the front of the gift card holder. So when I do this, what I look at is making the same amount of space here and here. Okay, and then basically it winds up the same way that way too. So I set it there and then keep my finger there a bit. And then I'm just going to go from this area, and it doesn't have to be all the way to that edge. But I want my corners stuck down good. And hanging on to the unglued portion. Kind of hold my bottom up. And once I lay it down, then I can go ahead and get the top and bottom leveled up the way that I like it. Oh, there we go. Press it in. Now, if you have a circle punch, a 1/2 inch, or even a 3/4, but they retired those on us. So I've been using one of my label punches to punch a finger hole here. Hang on a second, I'm gonna grab it. All right, get my earbuds back in. This is, it's either the label me lovely or label me fancy punch. And I just use the top edge of this to cut a finger hole. You don't have to have a finger hole. I just like them. Okay, so I wanted to mark the center so I could see it. So this piece is a 4 1/4. So I'm going to make just a little pencil mark at 2 1/8 to show me where to center this up. See that indentation there? There's my pencil mark. I'm just going to where those 2 points come. Okay. And that's just enough of a finger hole for your gift card. So I always like to, I'm going to take the covers off my tear and tape here. I set a gift card into place and seal the flap down over. If I can get it loose. Sealed that down really good. Here it comes. There we go. So this in the middle, hold it and seal it down. And then again, take your bone folder and run it along that edge to seal the tape down good. Leftovers. Okay. So all we have left are rhinestones. And happy birthday. And we want, and this is going to have a mini glue dot underneath it on this end, and then a dimensional on that end. So I did put 2. So I put one under the B and one under the end on the right hand side. So figure out where the B is. Stick your finger there. And then glue dot that end. This edge is gonna go fairly close. And pull that down and stick it. It's just a little off. I don't know why I always see better when I pull it up in front of me. But I do. There. Hold on.
Pretty.
Mhm. So if anybody got any questions,
No, I
Noted.
think there's a lot of good tips.
Oh, yeah. And I like
Cool.
the fact that we can go back and
and
do our
watch the
card.
video. Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. And pause it.
cool.
Thank you.
Oh, you are welcome. I like the idea of the Zoom meetings because I like having the interaction between myself and who's on with me. To me, it's easier to deal with than trying to read posts if you're doing a Facebook Live. So I'm probably going to do these. I'm also thinking about doing this for the paper pumpkin, which, by the way, if you don't have paper pumpkin, you need to get it. There's a lot of fun stuff in there, especially after I get through with it, because I send out,
Alternatives.
yes, and cardstock, things for it to make it go a little bit further and give you a little more variety. So think about that if you haven't done it. Okay, I'm going to sign off and let my husband have his TV back.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye, Jan.
Great.
Have a great day, okay?
Bye, Beth. Bye,
Bye.
Monica.
Bye. Thank you.
Mhm.
Bye.